Imagine thinking you know everything about your child, only to walk into their home and hear them say, "We got married yesterday." What would you do if your son or daughter shocked you with a secret wedding you never saw coming? This is exactly what happened to me, and the story that unfolded was more surprising and emotional than I could have ever imagined. I noticed the subtle changes first. He started disappearing more often on weekends, came home a little later than usual, and seemed a little distracted when talking about his plans. I didn't pry because I didn't want to seem intrusive. But one day, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to casually ask him about his social life. "Have you been seeing someone?" I asked, trying to sound casual as I stirred my tea. He smiled a little nervously, avoided my gaze for a moment, and said, yeah, I guess you could say that." That was all. I didn't press further. I thought maybe he was shy or wanted to reveal it on his own terms. Days passed, and I found myself noticing him in a different light, how he seemed happier, how he smiled more, and how he talked about someone special occasionally, but always vaguely. Then came the day that changed everything. I had decided to call him in the afternoon to discuss some plans for the weekend. He answered on the first ring, cheerful as ever. I could hear the background noise of laughter and clinking glasses. "Oh, we're just having a little gathering here," he said. "Mom, I'll call you back in a bit." "Sure, no problem," I replied. I thought nothing of it. But curiosity gnawed at me. Something about the tone of his voice seemed different, like he was hiding something but trying not to let it slip. Later that evening, I decided to visit him. I know it sounds like a motherly overstep, but I just had a feeling. As soon as I arrived, I noticed something unusual. His apartment was filled with flowers, and there were faint traces of celebratory decorations, balloons, ribbons, even a small cake. Before I could even knock, the door swung open, and there she was, my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, though I didn't know that yet, standing in a simple but elegant dress. She looked nervous, and I could tell she was trying not to burst into laughter. I smiled warmly. "Hello there, lovely. Who's all this for?" She looked at me, paused for a moment, and then said words I will never forget. "We got married yesterday." At first, I thought I had misheard her. "Excuse me?" I asked, my voice tinged with confusion. "We got married yesterday," she repeated, her eyes twinkling. I blinked, then blinked again. And just like that, the world seemed to tilt slightly off its axis. My son had gotten married, without telling me, without a single hint. And here she was, standing right in front of me, smiling nervously. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or scream. Part of me felt proud. This was my son, starting a new chapter in life. But another part, the part that felt left out and blindsided, was struggling to process it. "So, wait," I stammered, trying to steady my voice. "You're married? And you didn't tell me?" She looked genuinely apologetic, but also a little amused. We wanted it to be simple, just the two of us. We didn't want a big announcement or a fuss. We thought we'd tell you today, in person. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of emotions. I don't even know what to say." She laughed softly, sensing my shock. "You don't have to say anything yet. We just wanted you to know." I stepped inside, my mind racing. How did this happen so fast? How did I not notice? And why didn't he say a word? As I looked around, I started noticing little details. The wedding rings on their fingers, the tiny certificate lying on the counter, the small bouquet she has carried. It all became real, all at once. We sat down, and she began to tell me their story, how they met, how their relationship blossomed, and how one thing led to another. She spoke with such honesty and warmth that it was impossible to feel anything but affection for her. But still, my heart wrestled with the surprise. When my son finally walked in, his expression told me everything. He knew I'd be shocked, but he also seemed relieved that the secret was finally out. "Mom," he said with a sheepish smile, "I wanted to tell you, I didn't know how. We wanted it to be perfect, and now it's over, and we wanted to share it with you properly." I looked at him, and suddenly all my initial shock melted into laughter, partly from relief, partly because the situation was just too surreal. My son, my baby, married without a single warning. And yet, seeing the happiness radiating from him and his wife, how could I not feel joy too? "You two are ridiculous," I said, shaking my head with a laugh. "I can't believe you pulled this off without me knowing. I feel like I need a week to recover from this surprise." They laughed with me, and the atmosphere lightened. Slowly, I realized something important. The marriage wasn't about keeping secrets from me. It was about their love, their choice, and their happiness. And as much as it hurt to be left out initially, their joy was infectious. Over the next few hours, we talked, laughed, and shared stories. They showed me the pictures they had secretly taken, the moments of their special day. And with each story, each photograph, I felt my heart soften. I remembered my own wedding day, the excitement, the nervous anticipation, and the sense of stepping into the unknown with someone you love. Suddenly, their secret didn't feel like a betrayal anymore. It felt like a reminder that life is full of surprises, some so delightful they knock the wind out of you. As the night went on, I realized that love has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. My son and his wife didn't tell me their plan because they wanted a simple, intimate experience, but they included me in the moment after, and that mattered even more. By the time I left, I had hugged them both multiple times. I had laughed, cried, and marveled at the whirlwind of events. And though my mind was still catching up with the reality of their sudden marriage, my heart was full. Driving home, I reflected on everything. Life is unpredictable. People you love will sometimes make choices that shock you, but that doesn't mean you're excluded. It just means you have to embrace the surprise and let love take its course. I texted my friends that night, recounting the story, and even writing it down here feels surreal. How does a mother process finding out her son got married overnight? Honestly, it's a mixture of shock, disbelief, joy, and a strange sense of pride. The next few days were just as interesting. I got to know my daughter-in-law better, learning about her dreams, her passions, and the quirks that make her so perfect for my son. We shopped for little things for their home, shared meals, and slowly, the initial shock of the secret wedding faded into warmth and laughter. I realized something crucial. Love doesn't need grand announcements or long explanations to be real. My son and his wife chose what felt right for them, and that was all that mattered. I had the privilege of being included after the fact, witnessing the happiness that comes from two people choosing each other wholeheartedly. Looking back now, I can laugh at my initial shock. Yes, I was blindsided. Yes, it was unexpected. But it was also beautiful, genuine, and utterly unforgettable. Their love story didn't follow the traditional path I expected, but sometimes the best stories don't. And so, life goes on. My son and his wife are blissfully happy, and I've learned to embrace the unexpected. Surprises aren't always inconvenient. They can be a reminder of how vibrant, unpredictable, and magical life truly is. I still remember the exact moment she told me, "We got married yesterday." It's a sentence that will forever echo in my memory, not as a shock, but as the start of a new chapter in all our lives. A chapter full of love, laughter, and the understanding that sometimes the most important thing isn't how or when something happens, it's the joy it brings.